stage with Upset.
Thank you very much, guys. And thank you, Upset, for joining me. Congrats on making it to Athens. Any first thoughts on winning this one today?
I mean, I'm just really happy that we showed again, like, that we will always pull through in a best of 5 for now, and that we have a strong team spirit, and even if the game is super close, that we have people in the team that will make the clutch plays and the clutch calls. So I'm just really happy that how our mindset is on stage, and no one is scared to make the big play. That I'm really happy with.
Given what we saw from Rogue last week, what did you expect coming in today?
I expected basically what they showed today. I think it was the series Splice vs Rogue was mostly decided by Splice playing really bad, but nothing to take away from Rogue. I think they have a good idea how to play, but they were playing a lot through bot, and I think we stopped this a lot. And also Odo was really doing well in the 1v1 matchup versus Finn for most of the games. So I think we just had a good idea how they play, and we shut it down.
Anything special about having to face a team that claims to be fearless?
You mean Fnatic or? Oh no, Rogue?
No, yeah, Rogue.
No, I mean, I don't really care what they say. It's yeah, it's whatever. They didn't look like they had super good mindset or nerves playing these games, because there were a lot of hiccups they did. We did too, I think. But yeah, I don't really care what the other team says about themselves.
All right. Given that you had to play on red side the whole series, which is pretty unusual when you have a best of 5, do you think it helps you through the series? Because you chose red for the first game, but then you ended up staying there.
Yeah, I mean, how it works is we have side selection, right? And then we chose red, and we lost the first game, and then they had side selection all games. So we have different kind of way to play on both sides, I think, and we were quite happy with the red side strategy. So yeah, we were quite happy that they kept choosing blue side.
Now tell me about the game 3, because things were going in Rogue's favor, but in the end you managed to win it. On social media, I saw a lot of people blaming Rogue for this one. So do you think it's really on them, or did you play fights and flank setups better?
No, I mean, they actually could have ended the game, I think, but Corky went a bit too far with his Valkyrie and died to the laser when he could have ended the game, probably. So I guess they should have won this game, but in the end, if you do a mistake and you lose the game, you deserve to lose the game. And I think we didn't play so well, and they did actually have a really good draft where we were pressured a lot in the game, but we managed to pull through, and in the late game team fight we had more clutch players, and that's what mattered in the end in the best of 5.
All right, now next week you'll have to play the winner of either G2 or Fnatic. You mentioned Fnatic earlier, so why will you have to play against Fnatic?
I mean, I just think G2 is a lot stronger team, judging from practice especially. Yeah, that's why I think it will be Fnatic.
Okay, so I think we're going to have to throw to PGL really soon, so let me know. They will talk about the game eventually, so what will be the key and determining factor in the G2 versus Fnatic series tomorrow?
Probably mid-jungle, I think. That's most of the time what's really important in the best of 5, at least in the early games and stuff. So yeah, I think if G2's mid-jungle will play how they usually play compared to Fnatic's, and Broxah doesn't maybe get his Lee Sin or something and pops off, I think G2 will probably take it.
All right, we'll see about that tomorrow. Thank you very much for your insights, and congrats again on making it to Athens.
Thank you.
And now let's send it over to Shox for PGL.
Welcome everyone to the LEC post-game lobby. I'm Shox, joined by the Fisho for now, but Abadaga and Odoamne are on there.
I thought it was going to be the LEC Lounge round 2.
Oh yeah, exactly. That is the show that I did with the Fisho. You can find it on YouTube. We talked in reality for 3.5 hours, but we cut it down to about...
Already has 3 million views, so super popular.
Okay, perfect.
Very popular.
Well, that's actually why you requested you wanted to be on the post-game lobby alone, so we said, okay, just for a little bit, but you're not that important.
I can pretend to be Odoamne, you know?
Exactly. Okay, go ahead. What would you, actually, if you were Odoamne, what would you say about the series?
If I was Odoamne, don't give me Kennen or Rumble.
Okay. And what else would you say? Why did it take 4 games instead of 3?
That's a good question. Why did it take actually? He did really well in all 4 games. Yeah. He could blame someone else, but who?
Yeah. What do you think it came down to in the end for, let's say Rogue, because we just heard from Schalke or from Upset, we're going to hear a lot from them. What do you think they faltered at the final hurdle?
Well, I think, so one thing is obviously when you play against Schalke, they have as Upset just said, like some individually very good team fighters who can make big plays happen. You know, like we saw with Kennen in that game 3 when it was super close, and you know, technically it was like Schalke winning, then Rogue winning, then back to Schalke. I think Upset getting Lucian every game, he was obviously able to have quite a lot of impact on that, and I think we did get to see a bit of, especially in the last game, Schalke really punishing the Rogue bot lane. I do think Rogue had more of an easy time to play kind of the style where they just want to focus on mid priority into then like, you know, playing on waves instead of just playing in like pure fights against Splice. I think they had an easy time doing that because Splice is way less aggressive in the way they're forcing fights. I think Ignar and Trick did a great job in some of these games of like kind of stopping that slow pace and saying, you know what, if there's an opening, we're fighting this one. You know, we're going for it. And even if the enemy team can double TP in or something, and it might be a bit risky, taking the fight stops the slow setup that Rogue really liked against Splice.
And if you compare it to the series against Splice, I think we walked away from that series also thinking that every single player on the Rogue lineup was playing really well, and they were really well in sync. I didn't have that impression today, and I think maybe that was lacking as well. I saw some individual mistakes that happened a bit more, especially after that tilt in game 3, let's just put it that way, but that's also by their own making. But I don't want to blame them too much for that, seeing how they developed so far.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, I know a lot of people talk about the last game and look at the bot lane specifically.
Hello.
Damn, you've been working out lately or what?
Everyone tells me that.
All right.
I've been really slacking off.
Oh, okay.
I'm just
It's a shirt then, I guess.
Always just count on the Physio to shower the guests in compliments.
I was just going to say, like, people will look at the Rogue bot lane in the last game and see the scoreline.
Yeah.
But, like, Trick, because he couldn't go anywhere else, was literally just sitting bot. And they were already playing Tristana against Lucian. So the moment he falls behind, he can't do anything in the game. Made it really hard for Rogue's bot lane to do anything.
Yeah. Welcome, guests. We were just talking about your series, Abadaha and Odoamne. First up, Abba, tell me what was your takeaway from the series? How come you guys won in the end, and how come Rogue dropped the ball?
I think Odoamne and Ignar really carried like the whole series kind of, and I was kind of throwing for my team. Like the first game I played pretty bad, or like I went for some risky stuff and it went wrong, and then I think I made up for it in the last game, and I played well there. So I also had like my input into the series.
Well in the last game, I would say.
I'm pretty happy.
Yeah. What's the stress level like for you? Of course, it's your first playoffs, and a lot of people were looking at you in that mid lane in this series, but also the previous one.
I think I did pretty well. Like overall, I think I played better than in regular season, and I don't know. Yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah,
you did great.
How stressed do you feel? You won, so not stressed enough apparently.
I mean, I was pretty stressed and nervous before today because I really wanted to go further and I didn't want to just end the season here. So now I'm relieved.
Of course, Odoamne, talk to me about that because it's quite, you know, the sword that's above your head when you know if you lose this series, you're completely out. You're not even going to the regional qualifier. How did you deal with that stress and maybe help your team to deal with that stress? Like that, as Kennen.
That's just the Kennen pocket pick.
Yeah.
But I mean, dealing with the stress is kind of like a joke, you know, that we either win and go on vacation to Greece,
Okay.
or we lose and go on vacation home.
Or to Greece, I mean.
I mean, we can also go to Greece again and just watch the games, you know, but that was kind of like an inside joke that it's a win-win no matter what. But we were really motivated to perform because coming into the end of the split, we felt like things are kind of falling together for us. The picks we want to play are really good in the meta, and just the overall synergy between each other as teammates is kind of getting better and better. So it was mostly the stress of just wanting to perform, not that we would get knocked out if we lose and stuff like that.
Okay.
We just really wanted to use this series as like a proving ground for ourselves.
And how do you think you've done then if you used it as a proving ground?
It could have been better. Most of my stress during the series came from we figured out how they wanted to play, and it just required a lot of, you know, like mental fortitude and like brain power to kind of adapt from our own style to like what they do, because it was really obvious what they were doing. And I think we kind of punished it okay, but I think we could have done a lot better on that aspect.
Abba, can you tell me about the kind of last moments of that last game? Because at one point, Finn manages to almost turn that game entirely on its head. So tell me about the last phases and how you ended up winning the last fight.
I mean, when he got that fight in the around match, I got kind of a bit like nervous because I thought we already like won the game. But then like later they tried to catch me on top and they were overextending and then they were really caught out of position, and I knew that we are probably going to win there.
Yeah.
And
Did you get a flashback from game, was it 2 or 3? The game where you guys on a Baron, you end up a bit out of position. It goes back
that was game 3.
Rogue's favor, and then Larsen dives into the fountain.
Oh.
Tell me about that.
I mean, I thought the series is going to be like hard and it's going to be like a really long day, and then he decided to Valkyrie into our fountain, and I just saw him like, I thought Lucian was dead, but he also kind of one-shot the Corki back. But I thought he would still die, and then I was just like, I thought they can end for sure, and then we kind of all turned it all around and we played well. We were actually in a good position after that.
It was really crazy because I was focusing on like the 3 people hitting the tower, and then all of a sudden I hear Corki's dead from Elias, and I'm like, but where is he? And then after the game, everyone told me that he just packaged into the fountain.
So the theory is that he didn't realize he had package.
Oh, I thought he was just going to W forward.
That's the theory. That could be.
But he just like based and picked up the package and TP'd. So
okay, yeah, he definitely
might have also misangled it slightly.
Yeah.
Like obviously you don't plan on going into the fountain.
I don't know what happened there.
And I feel like he could have maybe killed the Lucian, or maybe he thought he can kill him. So that's the reason, maybe.
So Odo, do you have any words for Rogue? Because it's unlucky, and they've done a lot. They've fought really hard. In the end, fought because you guys were better today, but also because that happens for less experienced players.
Yeah.
Yet you guys also play with some less experienced players and you pulled through. Is there anything you can say about the performance of the rookies today and looking to the future?
Come on, old man Odo. Give him a speech.
Experienced man Odo.
Yeah, I'm old man now. I think they did really commendable. I think they played really well. Would have liked to see more picks from Finn instead of just playing Aatrox all the time. But I guess their strat made sense with like all the top lane bans, so it was kind of like ensuring a good top lane matchup. But if you look at the end of the season for Rogue, what they achieved with the bunch of rookies that no one gave a chance to, I think it's really admirable. They kind of pulled it through because everyone kind of ignored Rogue because they were the last team in like Spring Split and stuff, so no one really cared about them, and everyone thought they're just gonna end up down there. And they just were quiet and they just did their own thing and they worked really hard, and I think all the results so far in like playoffs were really, how do I say this, were really deserved.
Deserved, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's also just because I think a lot of people, when they saw the new lineup, didn't instantly say, oh, okay, playoff team,
No,
like, it was like, oh, okay, so they're letting all the rookies get a full split. Maybe they pick up a couple of wins here and there, and then they can all get some experience, and then next year, we can really see
it's
people
just hard,
develop.
It's just every time you just don't have enough players to choose from on how you want to like make your roster with like veterans and stuff, or maybe the skill level of the veterans decay, so you always have to take chances. And I think people just don't like taking chances with rookies, so they're always really quick to like brush them off. But I think a lot of the rookies that are like even in like solo queue or in like regional teams,
That's a lot.
Yeah, they are pretty talented, and I think they can make a run for LEC, but they don't have a lot of experience. But people don't want to give them that chance, So Rogue doing that is really, I think, really a good thing.
But it's also the fantastic thing about the academy system,
and
right?
EU Masters.
EU Masters as well. But just like generally the fact that either you can show yourself in a national league, like the French league, the German league, or the Spanish league, where a lot of people are actually watching, or EU Masters, where everyone will be watching, at least from the team side, or you can join directly to an academy team. And that's what the Rogue guys obviously did. So you get to see firsthand how does this group of players actually work together? Because otherwise you would never pick up all 5 and swap your entire lineup out. You would just pick like maybe 1 or 2 and put them in. But this was like, we've seen the group play. Misfits did the exact same. We've seen the entire group. Actually, this works. Let's swap them in instead of making a lot of changes and like kind of mix up the veterans and the rookies.
Yeah, and it worked out. And it's not that it's always going to work out, I think, or not as well, because
good track record in Europe.
Good, exactly. That's what I was going to say. It seems like there's a lot of talent in Europe, so every time when it does happen, it ends up okay. Or you get to almost the second round of playoffs for Rogue. So I just wanted to say goodbye to Rogue in terms of kind of the playoffs and this year. Very excited to see them play so far, but unfortunately it is for them. It's Schalke that's moving on. And the key player of the series, Odoamne, with 59% of the votes, and the Fisho is going to sing his praises for at least a minute.
A minute?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Man, all right, I already...
just lean back and get, like...
All right, so let's be real. This series, Odoamne looked the best he's looked all year long. So that's praise, kind of burn, but it's mainly praise.
Yeah.
The fact that in playoff series, he gets carry picks, where he can win team fights for his team was huge, because there was actually really close games until either the cannon came in with the flank and like pentakill people, or the rumble ultis were great.
Happened once.
So I think he got one penta, but he got a bunch of good fights. Let me sing the praises here.
Yeah.
So I think great laning phase, could have been slightly better, but pretty good. Didn't die to ganks, that was a big change. And amazing team fights from Odoamne. And I have to assume, I didn't watch the player camps, there must have been some veteran calls in those games in the tight moments.
Yeah, how much tilting was there and how many good calls?
I mean, it's not really tilt, because like you're so stressed in those games that you know that it's going so late and you need to find a really good window, and you don't get to tilt because every time you like, if I end a fight and I die or we lose a team fight, our instant thought process is like, what do you want to do for next fight? Where is a good fight we can find? How do you want to approach it? What went wrong? Did we flank with too many people with Akali, Akali, Kennen,
do you do that all instantly?
I mean, you get told very quickly to shut up if you're just sitting and whining,
If you're like going, oh, we shouldn't have done this, and this, and someone else going, we should have done this. Like, how do you make sure that you only get the necessary info?
You're pretty much dead for like 40 seconds later on in the game, so it's kind of like a flow chart where you're just like identifying what went wrong, and you just keep going down the steps, and then you kind of make the adaptation for the next fight. Because, for example, one of the fights that we lost at Nash, when we were getting Nash, is Abe was trying to flank as well with me, and Ali started flanking at the same time. So after that point, we kind of switched to only me and Ignar flanking together, and Akali playing more with the team. So that was kind of the way commons were in us looking for fights later on in the game.
I just want to know, because as a rookie, you played in Turkey before, where you got into playoffs and you played some of the big games there. How is the communication difference when you're now on an LEC team with Upset, Odoamne, Trick, Ignar, these kind of guys? Like, is it like completely different in the way people are talking and how people are approaching the game?
I think for sure it's different, because mainly macro is just a lot better, but people can still make like decent fight calls, like even in lower leagues. But I think in like LEC, it's just mostly good calls and like no int macro kind of.
Right.
Because in lower leagues, sometimes you can just get completely out of it and then no one knows what to do. But if you have like some veteran voices that play in the LEC for a long time, then they will try to find a way to actually fix the game instead of just keep going down.
Right.
I didn't want to take praise away from your pentakill, but was that the first one you ever had?
Yeah, it's the first time I get pentakill.
Whoa, that's so hard to... I mean, I guess you're top laner.
It's hard to get pentakill at Maokai, to be fair.
Yeah.
That is true. I was in the tank cage for a really long time. So if I get to like 5 assists in a team fight with Maokai, I'm really happy. I think I did my job. But I mean, I had quadras every now and then that people like steal from me. For example, Misfits in Spring. Upset stole my penta again.
Oh, it's all on your list.
Yeah. So I mean, I keep track of it, because you know me and Upset have this ego fight and stuff.
Yes,
I mean,
I know.
we went to therapy
Who's
for it.
winning?
Yeah, tell me. How's it going?
I think after this series, I win.
Okay,
Yeah?
nice.
But up until today, he was winning for sure.
Okay. How are the relationship issues, by the way, with Upset?
You fixed them. Like, you earned your money. It wasn't like cheap, but I mean, you did your job.
Yeah, finance finder Jaguar, no problem at all. It does mean that Schalke advanced to Athens while Rogue are done with their 2019 season. As said already, great run for Rogue, and they'll be beating themselves up about some of those things in those games. But it's over for them. That means that Schalke 04 moves on to Athens. You guys will play the semifinal against the loser of G2 or Fnatic. Before we dive into those possible matchups, can I get a reaction from each of you about going to Athens and returning to a big stage? You've each been there before, but it's always fun. It's a completely different atmosphere. Abba, are you looking forward to playing in Athens?
I mean, I already played like once in a big stage in TCL with like in a big basketball stadium
and
or something.
Loud.
But I can imagine that it's going to be even bigger for like Athens. I mean, I didn't see the stadium, but I guess it's going to be really big for sure.
It's very big.
It will be.
Yeah, I'm just happy basically to be there.
Odo?
I mean, for me, it's really crazy because just this split wasn't really like the greatest for me up until this point, and I felt kind of like lackluster in my performance, and I wasn't really feeling like, you know, I can like carry the team and all of this stuff. And I don't know, just making this run to Athens and potentially me playing my first final ever, it's like a really big deal because I'm just glad everyone picked up the slack and we managed to improve so much. So just going back to playing in a big stage for me is really, really, really important.
How much is the mind on what comes after, or possibly winning the split and going to Worlds, and how does that compare? You know, winning the split or playing a final is super big, but I know getting to Worlds for Schalke has been a quest forever. You've been there, so you know what it's like. And for ABBA, I can only imagine that would be insane to get there in your first year on the biggest stage. How much are you thinking about that?
I'm just mostly taking it one at a time. Like first on my bucket list is to make the finals, and yeah, after that, regardless of the result, if you make finals or not, gauntlet is really, really important for us because I feel like we have a really big chance due to. Are you okay?
I don't know what happened there. Sorry.
Are you remembering your
I just heard something.
In the split?
I don't understand anything here.
I mean, I'm pretty sure people can find the graph where the Origin didn't end that well. So.
I mean, hey, Springspec got to
They're
count for
not on
something
this
too.
one, so.
True.
I
Actually,
mean,
Yeah, we didn't even lose a game in playoffs yet.
That's true.
Man, we're undefeated this year.
That's true.
This
Nothing
split.
lost. I believe we also have a graphic of the regional qualifier. Now, just there's an asterisk next to Schalke 04 because you, of course, could do better and end up in the last one. But
Wait,
for
really?
now, yeah, if you win.
Then it goes straight to
No,
Worlds.
then it goes straight. If you're second in the final, there's a scenario.
Fnatic should be higher in points.
Oh,
I
okay,
think.
I understand now. Yeah.
But let's say you're there. Splice versus OG would be the first one. Is going to be the first one no matter what. Then move on to play Schalke, and then Schalke would have to win only one best of 5 to get to Worlds.
Easy.
So, the fish show, the route so far, what do you think for OG?
I think, I mean, I have to be honest. I think if Splice and ourselves play better than we showed in the regular season and then Splice showed against Rogue, I actually think we match up very evenly with Schalke. I think all three teams, when they play kind of at their level, are fairly similar and fairly close to each other. So it could be like some long days with some good, 5-game series. Who advances? I mean, I think if we beat Splice, we have the mental edge over Schalke because they're going to get scared when they see the performance.
Spooky.
And then they don't know what's going to happen. And they've been spending all the time in Athens and so on. But I actually think all three teams, when they play at their level, very close to each other.
And I know this is difficult because you're all in teams that are competing for that spot. But are you able to give an unbiased view of who you think would perform the best at Worlds? Out of Schalke's
Unbiased? No.
Yeah.
For sure not.
Okay. So then tell me why you would, or OG would perform the best, and then they can tell me why Schalke would perform the best.
I would perform the best of Worlds.
Out of the remaining teams that can make it.
I think if we get some momentum going, like in spring, we actually can play super well. And I think we will have really big champion pools that are very hard to deal with. And in best of ones, in groups, you need that because you're going to play against a lot of different teams you've never played against before. And you need to be able to adapt and pick a man face. So I think we'll have that edge.
So what you're saying is Schalke has a small champion pool and isn't able to.
See, you said that. I didn't say that. However,
I just put one once again.
I mean, we saw Ken and Rumble, like.
If it works.
I mean, leave GP open, see what happens.
Yeah, I know it's hard because you probably don't want to talk about if it happens before it happens, but I can imagine you'd be quite psyched to play at Worlds again.
Yeah, for sure. I think us as a team is kind of weird because I feel like we adapt mostly to how enemies play, and we find like a good way to kind of like react in game. Because if you look at this Rogue series, we would say that we play really slow and all of this stuff, But I think if we play a team like G2, it's either win or lose the game in 20 minutes, just because we fight fire with fire pretty much. So it's kind of we're really in our comfort zone when it comes to playing against any team because we feel like we can adapt to everything they kind of like throw at us. So yeah, that's our.
You agree with that, Abba?
And Ken and Rumble.
I mean, I think if the enemy team plays fast, then we can adapt and also kind of play fast and flip it. Or if we want to go late, then like we also have like.
I mean, that's a call.
As players, I think we have like a late game character kind of like with a good ADC and good shot caller, so like playmakers, but we are also not bad in the early game for sure. So I think we're kind of adaptable, but we tend more towards late game, I guess.
And it's not fun to try and match G2 in the early game. Like, it does often fail. It will become like a massive, almost a fiesta in a sense, which is perma-fighting, but that is a tricky way to try and beat them. So
that's true.
Try and find a plan B as well is my recommendation.
I mean, we beat them in week 9, so
yes, you've actually got the most
might be
recent.
better, you know.
Yeah, we counterpicked the Kazakh stop and it led us to victory. That's how it went.
You can do it once. You can do it again. Tomorrow, though, we have got that series for the history books. G2 and Fnatic fight for a spot in the finals. Okay, we've
G2.
got the entree match over with. Just kidding, this was amazing. But tomorrow we also have Fnatic versus... It was just a joke, Odo, I'm sorry.
He didn't hear it, I think.
Okay, good. Just moving on. He just gave me like a really dark look, so that's why.
Fine. Don't worry.
So Fnatic versus G2, also a fantastic matchup, and whoever wins goes straight to the finals, and whoever loses has the joy of playing Schalke in Athens for another shot at the finals.
What a joy.
What a joy.
Incredible.
I mean, for that. Okay, the Fish Show. You've talked to me already this morning about it, but TLDR, what's going to happen tomorrow?
So I think G2 are favorites. I think depending on draft, they're either heavy favorites or just favorites. Okay. I think G2 have so many tools like they can use. Honestly, we don't even know what the top lane pool is because they've literally played everything from Kha'Zix to Garen to Annie, whatever, you know. So there's actually kind of limited information on this team because you never know fully on stage if they're 100% serious with the pick they're going for or not. That makes it super annoying in a best of 5. And I still believe they have another level from what they showed in the regular season, especially in a match against Fnatic where there's no way they're not going to take it like 100% serious.
Odo?
G2 3-0.
3-0?
Yeah.
That's another way to say it. It's another way.
I think it's not even like gonna be close.
Okay, can you give? It's gonna be exciting at least.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be fun because it's just G2 pretty much smashing Fnatic, so it's gonna be like kind of fun to watch for everyone. And you know, when G2 wins, it's really fun because you just get destroyed and you have no chance, and you're just like, you know, that meme with like, stop hitting it, it's already dead. That's kind of like what they do to you for like the whole series. So I don't know, I just think the individual talent and the amount of like synergy they have in between themselves, they look to me like the kind of team that could win games on LEC against any team without even like talking, just because I think they're just so intelligent when it comes to finding the win conditions, and everyone can play off of each other's movements a lot. So it doesn't take a lot of time to create a plan and get everyone to like adhere to the same plan. They can just wing it on the fly and just change what they want to like play for. And I think themselves as players, when someone makes a different decision, they already know what decision they should make without giving it a lot of thought. So that's kind of like what I feel when I watch G2 play.
That's what they, I think, talked about before as well, that they feel like everything just goes instant because everyone knows
very much on the same page.
What the right decision is
all
in each situation.
You get the difficult question now.
Ooh.
If Fnatic wins, how do they do it?
That's very hard.
Right, but they're winning now. In this world, they're winning. So
maybe if Krabs ends like a draft and
I mean, that happens.
Young Buck really smurfs the draft, and then
I think it depends on the signs in the crowd.
And then some G2 players go a bit crazy or like are a bit too cocky and they get punished. That's how I can see Fnatic like taking one game at least.
We're trying to say they win here.
If G2 does the same thing 3 times in a row,
right, okay.
Fnatic has a good shot.
Well, it's interesting because when we talk, we say, well, this is when you look at the best of 5s G2 and Fnatic have played in the last couple of years. It was always, or G2 was all the way on top, so it was kind of easy game for them, or it was Fnatic last year, was smurfing on everybody, or this year G2 is obviously head and shoulders above the rest, but still Fnatic is doing quite well. And we were actually of the opinion that Fnatic is a team that could put up the best fight in a best of 5. Are you saying nobody can take a game off a G2 in the LEC if they played their best?
I mean, for your argument about Fnatic and G2 last year, I can just say that Caps always wins. So that's kind of the team in this rivalry between G2 and Fnatic. And now that Perks is on G2, then sorry, not Perks, that Caps is on G2, Caps will win, obviously. So
so you're okay.
There is no pressure though on Fnatic. It's kind of weird. It's like Fnatic going into a best of 5, a playoff game, and you actually feel like it's just G2, 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 G2. And if Fnatic if they take the first game, a lot of people are like, whoa, okay, do we have a series now? Like, we didn't expect this. Like, I don't want to write them off completely. I think there are ways to punish G2 in the early game, especially if G2 get over-aggressive, like we have seen. But the problem is they're individually good and they're actually smart. Like, it's annoying if they were just like really dumb and just like ran at you all the time, but they don't actually do that. They actually know how to play the game, which makes it really difficult. So peak G2 would not lose a game in a series to an LEC team right now.
So finally then, we know that G2 is the only team from Europe that is 100% locked in for Worlds. Odo, you seem to have a lot of positive to say about them. What is your realistic expectation for G2 Esports at Worlds?
I think if they kind of like stop playing World of Warcraft, they can make it far.
Aren't they stuck in queue or something?
No, I mean, okay, I talked to Jankos, I think, a couple of days ago, and he said he's like level 25, and Wander's like level 17.
Oh, that's a bad sign. All right, Fnatic's going to take a game.
Like, okay,
Fnatic will take a game.
Like, Jankos was level 25 when the highest ever was like 30-something, you know? So he was putting the time in.
Fnatic can win some
Wait,
games.
So you're still saying 3-0?
Yeah.
What if all they played is WoW?
I mean, it's not all they play. So I mean, you still play screens and you play a lot. You find some downtime to just kind of mess around and play other stuff while you're in queue and all of this stuff.
That's a lot of downtime. 25, when the highest guy was like 30 something.
I mean, Jankos,
they're gonna be fine. They're gonna be fine.
Okay, that Caps, for example, he can play solo queue and watch a movie at the same time.
Right.
So maybe Jankos can do the same with World of Warcraft.
True. Maybe.
Right. So let's imagine they're actually just training during Worlds and before Worlds.
I think they can make finals.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they can win because Griffin is looking strong and the Chinese teams are always going to come in hot. But I think realistically they can make semis or like finals. Unless Origin is there. If Origin is there, Origin will win Worlds.
Yeah, but we all know that. The Griffin one is interesting. You use that one.
Yeah.
Because best of 5 Griffin is not necessarily, so far at least, the most or the greatest thing ever. We don't even know if they're going to win.
That's true.
So, I don't know. I think looking at the regions right now, I would actually say that peak G2, they're favorites to win Worlds.
I mean, I could see like an LCK team or like the strongest LPL or LCK team coming in with like some really good preparation and then have a shot at winning the series. But I think G2 are like for sure a contender for the trophy.
How weird is it? It's 2019 and all of a sudden EU is a contender for the World Championship.
You also realize tomorrow when Fnatic wins, this conversation is going to get played a lot of times and it's going to sound terrible.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's... People are always saying, oh, why should we put that much on their shoulders and stuff like that? It's just setting them up to choke rather. But I think if you are playing like this, that's just what people are going to do, right? And if you take up all the all-pro team votes, I don't know if you have anything to say about that.
I mean, it was kind of deserved. Yeah, I think just realistically, all of them have been performing really well. The only question mark for me would be like Wander, because he's kind of like trolling, and I feel like his level compared to like Spring kind of went down because of like all the pocket picks and all of this random stuff they're playing. But I think realistically, all of them are probably the best in their roles.
Yeah, we'll see. Worlds is a very long tournament. There's a lot at play, and you have to keep your focus for a very long time. So is the playoffs. But Schalke, you guys are still in it after heroic performance today against Rogue, against the fan favorites, 82%. But Schalke just came in and stopped all the dreams.
Fnatic can do the same. They will win one game. I'm calling it now. Broxa will camp mid and they will win a game.
Okay.
What if Dan is playing?
3-1. How would he
what
play?
if Dan is playing?
Why not? I mean, okay, what is this comment? You're just kind of...
No, I see it already.
No, he's just...
No, I mean, Broxa right now, they should be playing Broxa, of course.
He's thinking. All right, in any case, thank you so much for talking to me, Abba and Odawamne and the Fish Show. Congratulations, fantastic job so far. We're going to see you in Athens and in the regional qualifier. And if you at home missed out on any of the action today, be sure to stay tuned for our rebroadcast in a few minutes. And after that, you can also watch the OPL Grand Final between Mammoth and the Chiefs. Game 1 starts at 6 a.m. CEST, 2 p.m. local time on twitch.tv/Riot Games.
That's what I will do.
Excuse me?
I will go home and watch that series.
At 6 a.m. Okay.
Oh, never mind.
Have a celebratory drink and then watch the OPL finals.
All-nighter.
And the winner of that match, by the way, between Mammoth and the Chiefs will travel to Worlds in Europe as our OPL representative. That's going to be all from us here tonight. Thank you so much for watching. We will be back tomorrow with that hyped series, G2 versus Fnatic. See you then.
Sucks though.
Hey, like it?
Now, hello everyone, I'm Shox, joined by Ender, and finally arriving for the playoffs, it's OG the Fishio!
Oof.
I just wanted to get it out of the way, a bit of awkwardness, a bit of jokes. We're old colleagues, I think you appreciate the joke, but we're really, really happy to have you, the Fishio.
I'm glad to be here.
All right, great. Not on
I am glad to be here.
Ignite going forward as well. Larson flashes away but still gets locked up. The blast goes there for them. They'll try and get there. Finn coming in from the side. And it's an all-right brawl in the jungle as Trick falls. Goes golden for the moment. Amadagi trying to do what he can from the side, but Trick has already fallen. And now it's a 4v2, 4v1. Speed ran it last week. 6 minutes slower, but now the fight begins as Schalke going in. Amadagi trying to get onto Inspired, but Amadagi's almost fallen. Warlight's still alive, and here comes Finn from the side. Trick caught in no man's land. Rogue strike back. 2 for them, and now they're looking for that inhib tower.
Can they dive this? I feel like it's super dangerous.
I mean, they can, doesn't mean it will work. Flash away from Warlight straight away as Ignat's tanking up the tower. The Ignite is down, but Trick is here in time. 2 kills to Schalke, and the Nexus towers will fall. And Schalke are looking to equalize as 1-1 is the scoreline after they take down the Nexus. Look at the axes, the Draven can push forward here. And here goes Trick back in. Oh no, slices them up. Schalke turning around, but Warlight stands up, and he takes them down, and now Ignat will get him in the end. Known history.
Warlight gets stunned.
And he takes a lot of damage. Warlight down to half HP on the backline, but he's still alive. Amadagi goes in. Amadagi goes down. But here comes Odo. He slices through them all. And Ignat's going to chase down Larson as well, like Warlight has already done. Larson tries to flash away, but it's a quadra kill for Odo. The Infernal Chains don't quite connect. Amadagi is still there. He's locked up as well. But Trick comes in with the Arctic Assault. And it's Finn. He's doing it all. It's Finn. He's 17 years old. And he is carrying this fight. Larson tries to knock him away, but the quickness comes out. It's fine already taking down Ignat. And now the fight really erupts. Finn's going to go into the GN. Warlight's joined the fray. Upset, trying to get away, but Warlight could do it all. Finn in a 4v1 now. Schalke